Hey board gamers, BJ from Game Gumbo here, back in the Gumbo pot, this time taking a look at a brand new game from Devir Games, Lacrimosa. It's about the life and times of Mozart and his last requiem, putting it all together. It's designed by Gerard Asensi and Ferran Renales. It plays 1 to 4 players in about 90 minutes, so it's a good thinky Euro. You might remember it was on our Essen Hot Games list and also on our 2-play list from BGG Con. All right, we're looking at Lacrimosa. Look, this video does not show you, but how heavy and hefty this box is. This is a chunky box. So not only is it going to be a thinky, chunky Euro, the components itself are thinky and chunky. So Lacrimosa has a beautiful cover. In fact, to tell you the truth, that's what attracted me at first. Just this beautiful, gorgeous cover that shows all of the notes and the scales. It shows kind of some scenes from Mozart's history. We've got this kind of really cool outline here at the bottom with the contrast of the red on the negative space of the white. I love this cover. Whoever did this cover, chef's kiss, nicely done. All right, let's go inside the box. We've got a rule book. We've got rule books, and we've got them in a bunch of different flavors. We've got it in English, we've got it in Spanish and Italian and French, and it looks like German. So plenty, or maybe Portuguese, sorry, Portuguese. We got plenty of different rule books here. We're gonna focus on, of course, the English one. I'll show it to you real quick. Again, beautiful cover. Mozart's hand maybe, or his widow, right next to the last sheets of paper for the last requiem. Excellent. We've got the background of what the game is about, but also with some flavor from his widow, Constance Mozart, but also a beautiful rendition of the components so you know exactly how many you're getting and what they look like, especially if they refer to them in the game. I like that. We've got the setup. I'll be honest, I've already looked at the rulebook online. There's a PDF version you can find on bgg.com, so a lot of this looks familiar to me. But I love the etchings in the background, the little pencil drawings in the background, not etchings, but pencil drawings of the characters in the background. That's really neat. Also, I like when rule books are laid out like this with colors and pictures and all that, but sometimes graphic designers forget how busy it gets with the text. Not this one. There's enough negative space behind the words that it's easy for my poor old eyes to see. Then we've got how to play the game, basically. It's showing you the main phase and all the different player turns, making sure that it's emphasizing what money does and what story points are. I like the visual representations of what you can do on some of the phases. Then it talks about the actions, and I like this. It's got big popping graphics of what each one of those actions are going to look like on the board, so you know when you see that carriage, you're taking a travel action. You know if you see this, this candle with a book, you're documenting memories. So I like that. Another visual reference to some of the elements of the game. In particular, this is looking at the document memories examples, what the victory points look like, and the 50 scoring shield, talking about the maintenance phase, what to do at the end of every round, so it's nice and broken up because it goes both on your personal board and on the main board and explains how that does that. What the end of the game is, and I'm assuming at some point, oh wow, they go into really big detail. I didn't get this far in the rule book online. It goes into really big detail on the components, especially the main board and the personal board, exactly what all the different parts of the cards are. They could put all that in the front, but you want to get right to playing the game. So this will give you more in line of what the tiles look like and what all the different symbols on there say. Then we've got solitaire module. I don't know who did the solo module, but it's included in here. How to play it, and then the whole playing the solo game. And then of course the icon glossary. I love that. It's at the back of the rulebook, so you know exactly where it is. You can flip to it quickly. It's got pictures of all the different icons in the game, so you can quickly see where they are. And it's not just what they are. It doesn't just say this is a story point counter. It's got some little text to kind of give you an explanation of what those are, like travel. This action appears on memory cards. Some composer tiles also show this icon to grant this action as reward. That's a well done rule book. Nice thing about the credits, and a reference sheet on the back to kind of give you some quick notes about what some of the cards and actions do. So again, very, very helpful. I prefer if the back of the rulebook has kind of a cheat sheet on what is going on in the game. But that's okay. Reference guides to what is actually, tricky icons is also important. We'll get to the game board in just a second because that is right there. Like that. Let's take a look at the components. I kind of want to see. I saw lots of videos, and I'll tell you, my friends over at Meepletown, John and Dean, did a good podcast version. But you don't get a sense of what they look like when you're listening to a podcast. But here we got all the different musical notes that we'll be using, all the different player musical notes. We've got the singles and the doubles, and that'll refer to the different composers, the two different composers that we. Basically, the widow is interviewing two different composers to finish out the last requiem. At the same time, you're the patron working with Constance, and so you're trying to document some of the memories that you and your fellow friends have of Mozart's life as you explore the board. I mean, that's kind of the high-level elevator pitch of the game. So, and we'll be using those. Oh my God, it's been a long time since I took piano theory. So 8th notes and 16th notes, or quarter notes and quarter notes would be that. Yeah. It's either quarter notes and 8th notes or 8th notes and 16th notes. I should have checked that so I don't look like a dummy. Oh wow, you were in a band, you wrote music, and you don't remember what 8th notes are? I haven't really looked at that in a long time. So I was in a band in a former life. Okay, so next up, we've got some more components. And I think these are going, if I remember right, these are what we're going to use to track all the different, the economy of the game, right? So different story points. We'll put that there. So this is, I can see why it's chunky. The game board alone weighs 72 pounds, but all of these components are big, thick wooden pieces. So we've got Mozart looking really sharp right there. Let's see if I can get a good shot of that. There we go. And then the other little player pieces, your little carriages to denote where you're going. Nice. Very good. Standard cubes. Throw that away. Standard wooden cubes. We'll need those. I should probably have it set up real quick. Yep, so these are the individual, each player board is going to get these for their player. I think it's for the player board or for the main board. I'll have to double check that. So we got these little banner looking things, little shields. And that is the shield. Honestly, I don't remember what that's for. We're going to have to check that out later. All right, then we've got the decks. And this is a big part of the game. It's about the decks. So, all right, so we won't need these for our plays. I'm not really much of a solo player. These are the beautifully illustrated soloist cards. You'll use those if you're playing the game by yourself. So we'll put those to the side. Next up, we've got the Constance card. This is Mozart's widow. And they've got a little place to track her depending on which card you use during the game. There are 5 different cards that we'll be using. So, all right, next up, we've got our starting cards. And we've got a deck of 9 for each player. Plus, we'll have one of these opus cards that match that player's icon, and you can see in the middle. So this will be the kind of the purple and green one here, probably the purple player. So they'll start with an opus card and then 9 memory cards. As you can see, each one of them has that symbol right there. And that's their deck to start out with. Next up, we've got this with the 2 lions. And that'll be their 9 cards plus their opus card. So a total of 10 in their starting deck. And then we've got this one, kind of Christmassy looking one. That'll be probably the yellow and red player right there. Matches that perfect. We got their 9 cards plus their starting one. And then the blue player. That's matching that right there. There's that piece that matches. That's their opus and their starting 9. And then that's the 4 decks to start out with. And then of course we have the opus cards and the memory cards. And we'll take a look at those. You can see they have the Roman numerals on them to show how they're going to be coming out during the game. Really classic art on the inside there. Images of Mozart playing or people praying. Beautiful chairs. The Royal Hall. You can see that these also have different symbols on the top and on the bottom. And then we've got the memory cards here. Top to bottom. All right, we're gonna look at the player boards and we're gonna look at the main board later. We've got a bunch of stuff to punch out here. Let's get that knocked out. I'll get these decks out of the way. And I'll probably make 4 different bags with each of the player pieces, so I'll get that done. All right, so we got some money, and we got some, I think these are the neutral notes if I remember right. Money punches out nice. Now this comes with cardboard money. You might want to play with your own, with your poker chips or with this money. I will double check to see. These are the little 1 ducats, and they also have the bigger coins that we'll get to. That'll represent the larger ones. For something like this, a lot of times I will substitute with my own money. In particular, I like using little metal money from Flow of History, the upgraded edition. We'll knock these out. These punch out really easy. And this is the first player marker, the little tuning fork. So put that aside. So the money has a little decoration, nothing fancy there. The ones on the front and a little decoration on the back. And those markers there with consonants on the back of them. Next up, we've got a big sheet that is double-sided because it includes some little player cheat sheets about the main phase and how to do the maintenance phase. And it actually comes in all the different languages. So it's got English, Catalan, Spanish, Italian, and Portuguese. So no French. I had said French earlier. It's actually Catalan, which, as you know, is the national language of the northeast area of Spain. I'm going to punch these out and see how they come out. Yeah, remind me to tell you the story about my brother going to university, one of the universities of Barcelona for law school as a fluent Spanish speaker, but not realizing that in Barcelona, Catalan is a lot of the universities use Catalan as their academic language. So that was pretty awesome. That was pretty awesome of him. He did learn some Catalan, and then my son was in Madrid, and they have some Catalan speakers there also, but his focus is on Spanish. And I'm not going to get into the politics of all that because I don't understand European politics well enough to know. All right, so we've got the main phase and the maintenance phase right here, and we've got 4 little cheat sheets that we'll pass out. It'll tell you that in your main phase you're going to draw up to 4 cards. You basically replenish up to 4 cards, and you'll play 2 cards, and you'll do all that, except I think in the last part you'll actually play 1. And then the maintenance phase, where you'll do your personal boards, the main board, and then you'll pass that first player marker I showed you. All right, we've got 2 sheets here with a bunch of different things, so I'll go over those a little bit. We've got some composer tiles here, Abler and Submeyer. I am butchering those names, I'm sure, and Freystadler and Stadler. I'm assuming Freystadler and Stadler are cousins, but I'm not sure. Those have the composer with their name on the front, and I think, if I remember right, you're going to draw 2 of them randomly at the start of the game and then place them down at the bottom, so all the cards and things that matches up to those, you'll have a visual reference, and they also have a little drawing of the person there. We've got the bigger coins here. That is the 5s, so you can see that there. And we'll punch those out real quick. And of course, extra little single one. Again, I will probably just use other coins because I like the clink of the metal coins, but those are really nice thick coins. Then we've got what, if I remember right, is called the King's Favor tiles. Let's see. The Royal Court tiles, okay? And that's what these kind of square tiles are. These are kind of ways to score points, but, and that's what that marking is, and that's what I'm going to show you in just a second. So you'll see there, that's going to show you the points that you'll score, but you have to meet that credential to get there. So these are going to be not easy to get the King's Favor, of course, the Royal Court's favor, but if you could do that, you can score, you know, some nice points. Maybe some of the easier ones will score your lower points, but some of these are worth as many as 7 points. So haven't played the game yet, but that could be a changer. We'll keep an eye on that one. I'll punch out the rest of them. There are a few more. So I don't remember, but on the setup, but I'm assuming that's what happens. You're going to have kind of a random assortment of them. And you'll see they are also double-sided. Some more ducats to punch out. We're going to pass the ducats to the left-hand side real quick. And then we've got the scoring markers here. So if you're good, right, you'll get to flip those over and get your little 50-point markings in each player color. All right, so now we talked about the composers that are going to be helping Constance and the patrons, weaving the patrons, complete the requiem, and that's what these tiles are. And as you can see, they're color-coded. I'm going to have to see what these are. I don't remember, so I'll put these to the side so I can see in just a second. We'll finish that sheet. So these are all the blue ones, and these all represent eye blurs tiles. So we'll use those as we're building out the last requiem, because that's what the composer part is going to be working on. So we've got some more for eye blur. There should be enough for all 4 composers. We've got Stadler. No relation to Craig, I'm assuming. And again, I'll double check and see what those are in just a second. Always check both sides. Ducat that we'll put out. Now we've got some more of Stadlers. I don't see Waldorf, but I do see Stadler. All right, so that is all the Stadler tiles. And you'll see these are going to go on the bottom of the main board for the composers. And then we're starting on the Submeyer. Again, I will get to what those are. All right, that's it on those. We are going to get to these. These are the bonus tiles that we'll be working on, but I will put these here so I won't forget. I'll come back to these. I want to finish out the Submeyer tiles. I mean, these are I'm always impressed with Devir's cardboard. This is not cheap stuff. This is big, thick, chunky cardboard that you're going to enjoy. Each of these tiles feels solid in your hand, and they punch out very easily. So good job on the production in that aspect. And we've got all the bonus tiles, which we'll get in a second. We've got all of Submeyer's. I wish I knew how to pronounce these names. So that B is not pronounced like a B. I know that. I just don't know how it's pronounced. So leave that there. And then we've got Freistadler, which is, man, that just so smooth to punch out. Super easy. Yeah, I got a question though. I know that Devir is either a Spanish or Portuguese company. I know that. I'm just curious, a game like this would just seem like a natural for the German market. It's Mozart. Maybe they've got a localizer that's doing it, but there's no German edition in here. So there must be another edition because, I mean, this is a game that you would think would go to the German market. Austrians and Germans are going to want to play this game, right? You're going to see when we get to the board that we're going to be moving Mozart around the city, and that is what these are. These represent the things that you can get for going to the different cities. So these kind of the city tiles, city bonus tiles, or city tiles is what they're really called, and they come with a bunch. So 5, 15, yeah, looks like about 15 different tiles. Nice and thick, and they'll come out different in every game. So these are the period bonus tiles. Now they have Roman numerals on them to denote when they're going to come out, and they go in on top of the decks as you're seeding the deck at the start of the game. So when they get to them, that denotes that the passage of that error, we've met that passage of the error, and then it'll tell us what's going to happen. So these help you with that demarcation from error to error while you're playing the game. All right, 2 things left to show. Let's take a look at the player boards, and then we'll get right to the main game board. I did like the way these looked on the video, so I want to see, and they do look like what I thought. Oh, I don't think this is going to show on video, but this actually looks like you're holding an old style journal or a leaf. It looks like a little book. It even feels like there's a little bookmark here on the bottom, and then you slide it open, and oh, it's a beautiful. This is an absolutely gorgeous 2-layer board. The cards are going to slide in here on the top, and it just doesn't really show up on video as well. I apologize. You'll have your scoring marker here, your tracks over here. This is where you'll put your notes as you'll have all your markers here, and you'll pull them off as you're playing them on the board. Wow, this is stunning. This is really well done, and it folds like it's a book. It's got the little binder edge like a notebook, and it's in all 4 of the player colors. So got that in the yellow and the purple. Oh, it's such a deep purple too. It just looks so good. And the brown. Let's look at that. That is just gorgeous. Got the player color on the inside. They took their time on this one. Now I can see why this box is so heavy. And there's the blue. And again, folds out beautifully. All right, this is the massive game board. I actually had to take a break so that I could expand the field of vision. Let's see if we've got enough room here. I think we will. I'll be very careful not to break this board. All right, that fits the board. As you can see, we've got the map here of Europe. We've got Spain. We've got the top of Italy, France, the UK here, Germany and Austria. And we've got all the different cities. We've got Berlin to London and Frankfurt to München to Prague to Salzburg, Wien? I guess that's Vienna, yep. Lyon, I'm guessing that's Milan. I'm not sure what this is. Milan? Milan? Is that the top of Italy? It looks like it's over in France, so Paris and Innsbruck. I'm trying to think what city would be on the coast there. And so as you can see, Mozart is going to be passing his way all through here, going to these different cities, and we'll try to get bonuses as we get through those. We do have the nice scoring track that gets laid around to the 50, and then on your player board, you'll flip that over if you can get to the 50 so that you can know that you've already completed that. Then at the top of the board, and I'll slide that over real quick, you can see this is where all the cards that we're going to be drafting from are going to be here as they come out. And they've got the costs, and they'll be sliding down, obviously. Last part is the actual last requiem, and that's what is shown here. The 2 composers are going to go here with their faces, and you can see that we'll know which one is which on the board because it'll either be this note or this note. And then this denotes what the starting is for all the requirements for the last requiem, and we'll be placing our tokens on there. This part is sort of like an area majority style area. We're going to look to see, it's sort of like that because we're going to look to see which composers have the most of those units in there, and then that's how we'll do the scoring based on how many markers we have in here. So that is the absolutely gorgeous game board from Lacrimosa. All right, so that's everything you get inside the box of Lacrimosa from Devir Games, an absolutely stunning production with beautiful art. Plays 1 to 4 players. It's a solid Euro game up to 90 minutes. It's the life and times of Wolfgang Mozart. We can't wait to play this game. And speaking of playing games, check us out every Tuesday night on twitch.tv/BoardGameGumbo, where we're right here in the Gumbo Pot. We play your games. We play games like Starship Captains, or Mosaic: A Story of Civilization, or pretty soon, Lacrimosa. So check that out on Tuesdays. Come hang out in the Gumbo, in the chat crew with us, or check us out on youtube.com/BoardGameGumbo, where we put up all of our videos from our reviews, our playthroughs, our unboxings, and just some of our convention and news coverage. So check that out. Until next time, Laissez, bon temps rouler.